Welcome back. Let's take a look at number 2. I've got my graph here. I copied all the points and I've got my template. I just need to fill everything out. First thing, x-intercepts. I've got 3. So I'm going to list all 3 times that I cross the x-axis. There we go. Those are all 3 points where we cross the x-axis. Y-intercept, where I cross the y-axis. Only happens once, right there. Now I get to maximums and minimums. This time I do have a maximum. It's right here. That maximum is the y value where all the y values around it are lower. Now for both max and min, you do not list them as points. You list them as y values. So I pull the y value off of this, 1.089. That's my max. Same thing with with my minimum. So right there's my minimum. It's the lowest y value, and there are other y values around it are all higher. And I pull the y value out, and that's my minimum. Now I need to do increasing and decreasing. For increasing and decreasing, we want to think, if I read this graph from left to right, what pieces are going down and what pieces are going up when I go from left to right. So this part is decreasing. This part is increasing. And this part is decreasing. So I've got 1 increasing interval, 2 decreasing intervals. Now let's look at our increasing one. Whenever you do increasing, you always talk about it in terms of domain or x values, not the y values. So this increasing right here would not be negative 1.089 to positive 1.089. That's not right. It would be negative 0.816 to positive 0.816. You do it using the x values, the domain, side to side. So now I look at decreasing. So my first decreasing is from here, which is all the way to the left. It's going to go forever and ever and ever. So negative infinity to right there, my x value, negative 0.816. And right here, x value, positive 0.816. And then it's going to go to the right forever and ever and ever. So infinity. Always in terms of, always use x values. Same with positive and negative. So now let's color code this. Positive is when I'm above the x-axis, so those 2 spots. Negative is when I'm below the x-axis. That one went funky. Let's try that again. There and there. So it looks like I got 2 positives and 2 negatives. Once again, always think of these in terms of the x coordinate. So my first positive looks like it's negative infinity all the way to the left forever and ever and ever, up to my x coordinate there, negative 1.414. And then this middle one, x coordinate from 0 to positive 1.414. For my negative parts, first pot right there, x values, negative 1.414 to 0. And then this spot is positive 1.414. All the way, it's going to keep going to the left forever and ever, positive infinity. And remember, we always think about these in terms of domain, x values left and right, not up and down. Okay, end behavior. First one, as x goes to infinity. So as x goes to infinity, that's to the right. I notice my arrow is going down. So down to negative infinity. Then as x goes to negative infinity, so to the left, as I go to the left, my arrow on my graph is going up to positive infinity. There's our end behavior. Last one, symmetry. So if I look, this is not symmetric across the y-axis. It's not reflected across the y-axis. But if I take this section of the graph and I rotate it, it will fall on top of the other section. So that becomes that. So that means we have origin symmetry, or odd. There's number 2. That one was a little more complicated. Hopefully it cleared up some things. I want you to try number 3 on your own. So go to Desmos, graph it, fill in your template, and then fill in all the pieces of that template, and then come back and see if you got it. Okay, check how you did. X-intercept, no y-intercept, no maximum. This one might have been a little tricky. We do have a minimum right there. It's the smallest point on that graph that is a minimum. Y value is 0, so 0. Increasing the whole time from 1 up, no decreasing. Positive the whole time from 1 up, no negative. End behavior, as it goes to infinity, it goes up to infinity. This one you might have gotten wrong. As x goes to the left, negative infinity. Graph doesn't exist over there, so we don't have any, none. And then it is not symmetric. Your homework is questions 1 and 2. You have 2 other homework problems, and I'll do that in the next video.